Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another Back at Aviation video. And today we are going to be teaching you guys how to file a flight plan on the MCDU in the CRJ series for the Microsoft Flight Simulator. So let's get right into this one. Alrighty, the first thing we're going to be doing is actually not in the simulator. You have to have any other type of device. So I have an iPad with me, but you can be using a phone, you could be using whatever device you're watching this on, computer, laptop, PC, does not matter, but you're going to want to open up this website called SimBrief. Alright. And once you open that, you're going to want to create an account, and I already have an account, so I don't need to go through that. But now we're here, alright? So, by the way, SimBrief is completely free to use for you folks, but, so now we have to type in our departure airport. I'm at the Minneapolis airport, so I'm going to type in Kilo Mike Sierra Papa, and then we're going to Atlanta today, so I'm going to type in Kilo Alpha Tango Lima. So just type in your two airport codes, and then we're going to choose our aircraft. And today we're in the CRJ 900, but this works for any of the CRJ series, so let's find it. It's quite a few aeroplanes in here. Here we go, CRJ 900. And just like that, it has generated our route for us. So there's Minneapolis right there. And then it goes all the way down to Atlanta following high altitude waypoints is what they're called. And that's what those little black dots are. So you might be wondering, how do we get those into the airplane? Well, that's exactly what this tutorial is about, so let's go do it. Alrighty, now that we're in our cockpit of the CRJ, we're going to go right to the flight management computer, which is right here. And the first thing we're going to do here is click Flight Plan. So that is right here. And by the way, keep SimBrief open. It'll help out a lot. And then we're going to type in our airport codes just like we did on the website. Kilo, Mike, Sierra, Papa. Perfect. Then what are we going to do after that? Type in the destination airport. Kilo, Alpha, Tango, Lima. Punch it in right here. Boom, got that done. And now it's going to ask for our alternate airport, which we use in case the airport's closed, bad weather, or just whatever reason they can't land there. And today our diversion airport or alternate airport is Huntsville, Alabama, which is Kilo Hotel Sierra Victor. I'm going to type that in right here. And then I listened to the ATIS earlier, and we're going to be departing 30 left today out of Minneapolis. Always listen to the ATIS so you know what your originating runway is. That'll help you out later, and I'll explain why. And then you're going to hit execute. You have to hit execute or the information will not save. So boom, hit execute, and now it knows we're in Minneapolis. Absolutely amazing. Now after that, we're going to click on departure and arrivals. So departure and arrival, and then we have all these things that are called SIDs, which are basically different waypoints that direct us out of Minneapolis on takeoff. And so we have to look on the map and find which SID is best for us to use. And out of Minneapolis, departing to the southeast, the best one for us to use is Zumbro. This one right here. And then it's going to ask for a transition point, and you got to see if that transition point's on the way or not. And our transition point today is ODI, and what do you know? It's actually a transition point for us that works just fine. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to hit execute. Boom. So now we're basically all good for the Minneapolis departure. So now let's click on the arrivals. So by doing that, we click departure and arrivals again, and we click on arrival. Perfect. Today we're going to be using ILS runway 09 left in Atlanta. Perfect. And then after that, we have to do the same thing. It's called a star, not a SID, though. That's the main point of it. So we're just going to find the one that best suits it. So again, just look on the map and find which one is on our way. So looking through it, perfect. The chipper star approach. And then it's going to ask for transition points to make it easier on us. What do you know? Matthew or Mike Tango Hotel Echo Whiskey is right on the way. So we're going to click on that for our transition point. And then again, got to hit execute. And boom, we're already around halfway through the whole point of setting up the flight management computer. But we're not quite done yet, and let's get to the hard part. And the reason we're not quite done yet is because now we have to go to legs, which is right here. And let me get a little closer for you guys so you can see absolutely perfect there. We have to fill in all the stuff in between the SIDs and the stars, if that makes sense. So the SID only takes us as far as ODI from Minneapolis, and for Atlanta it only takes us as far as Matthew, or MTHEW. So basically we have to fill in all the stuff in between, because that's just how waypoints work, and we can't just fly in a straight line. So we have to fill all this in, and let me teach you how. So after OD, what's next on our map? It's cyber. So we're gonna go to our little keypad on our flight management display, and then we're gonna click Sierra and just copy it down. Sierra, India, Bravo, Echo, Romeo. And then boom, you go with the then discontinuity, so you go right here. Boom. So you're good with cyber. And then after that, we're gonna click on bribe, which is our next waypoint, which is Bravo, Romeo, India, Bravo, Echo, bribe, and then boom, that's in there. And then after bribe is Edens. So we're going to type that in. Echo, Delta, Echo, November, Sierra. And then again, just always click that, then discontinuity. And then after that, we have the waypoint of Centralia, Illinois, which is Echo, November, Lima. Boom. Now we're here, but we're out of spaces. Well, good thing they created this button called next page, and then we can go over. Great stuff there. And then now we're going to click on plus, which is, sorry, having trouble here. It's hard with an Xbox controller. Lima, Echo, Sierra, Sierra. Perfect. Ples. And again, just type in that then continuity. And then, so if you have many in a straight line like this, I do like to do every two because it's pretty useless to me to just fill in all of them if they're 2 miles apart. So for instance, we're going to skip Denny here and we're going to go to Tings. So, man, I'm having trouble with this Xbox controller. Anyways, it's Tango, India, November, Golf, Sierra, Tings. Okay, there we go. And then after that, we're going to skip La Jog and we're going to go with Nashville. So, Bravo. Man, I am having trouble, as I mentioned. Anyways, Bravo, November, Alpha. That's Nashville's airport. We're flying over it. We're not going there. And this happens sometimes. You just got to choose the one that's closest, which is normally at the top. Or sometimes you have to look up the coordinates if many are too close. And for instance here, we're going to skip Neweb, and we're going to go with our last one before Matthew, because that's already in the star automatically. So we're going to go I have. Alright, and then because it's an Xbox, it only has 4 minutes of recording at a time, but you just had to punch in I have, and then we're almost done with the legs, and let's get to the last part now. Alright, and now that we're back in the Xbox, let's just do our final little thing before we're good to take off here. So, as you can see, the then discontinuity, that basically means it's a discontinuity. The route won't work. So we just have to fill this in just like this. So we're going to go Jetty, and then we're going to go like that. And then we're going to hit execute. So that's the first one. And for some reason, I've been having trouble with the vectors lately, and it hasn't been working as there's like no connection there. So we're just going to get rid of that just like that, and then boom. So now we have like a solid line, which means it's going to pick it up. We're not quite done yet, as we have to fill in our transition point. So we'll go like that to this continuity, and then we'll hit execute, and then we're good there. And the final part is we have to convert it to our star, which will go like this. Same thing, execute once again, and then boom, there's no discontinuities. And then if we want to see the whole thing, we can go like this, see the range, zoom out, and we can see kind of our path. It only goes 640 nautical miles of zoom, but you can kind of see the path, which is great. So now let's test this out and see if this actually works. Alrighty, and now that we are in our CRJ, we can take off, and I'll show you guys that this actually works, and I'm not making all of this up. So yeah, let's take off here. Flaps 8 degrees, yep, we're good to take off. Whoa! Yeah, you gotta, I accidentally turned on multiplayer, on accident. You gotta love that. That is amazing. Anyways, folks, let's just take off here out of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and we're gonna absolutely hit an F-18, but that's okay. Alright, and we're about rotation speed. Yes, we can. Rotate. Okay. So now we can put the landing gear up. That is absolutely perfect. And I like to manual fly until about 900 to 1,000 feet above the ground, not sea level. So as you can see, we're about 500 feet right now. And I'm just going to kind of start turning to prepare our nav systems for autopilot. So let me get the autopilot on now. I do not know where my controller is. That is brilliant. So now we're going to turn on our autopilot, which is right here. And then we're going to turn on the main part of this video, nav mode, which, as you can see, starts to control the airplane. I'm not going to worry about the cruising altitude, but I'm just going to set a reasonable vertical speed. I just want to show you guys the nav. So what we're looking for is the screen right here, where my cursor is, right here. And basically what we're looking for is that the plane follows that solid white line. And would you look at that? It absolutely is. And I'll just keep playing it. And as you can see, my hands are not on the yoke. And the plane is turning itself toward our first waypoint, which you can see, Jetty. And we can also see how far it is, and you can see how it's counting it down. So let me show you on my cursor. It's going 34, 33.9, 33.8 nautical miles, and so on and so on. And as you can see, it follows just the right beginning of that white line as it's turning even more toward that white line, which is absolutely brilliant. Again, the CRJ has one of the easier autopilots to use. But yeah, I'm going to be releasing a video tomorrow, actually, about how the autopilot of the CRJ works. So, probably by the time you're watching this, that video is released. So, that will be linked in either the comments or the description, wherever I decide to put it. And you guys can also learn how to use the CRJ autopilot along with this. So now that we're passing 8,000, about to reach our cruising altitude. This plane is cruising very nicely today. And as you can see, it's turning toward the solid white line. And let's zoom it in even more so you guys can see. So as you can see, it's about to level off the solid white line, which will have us headed down to Atlanta. So you just have to make sure nav mode is on and do all the things we did in this video, and you're basically a professional CRJ pilot. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.